Welcome to Firearms of America. Today I'm back here in Shooters Upper Mars, Florida, and I have this M&P M2.0 chambered in 9mm version EZ, which stands for easy to rack, easy to pack. Yes, I just had a Luger LC9 review, which was a harder, tougher slide to rack, which I was saying, tougher spring. This is the easier. Yes, take a look at that. Haha. All right, so let's do some shooting and we'll see what it can do. Now, I'll start with some 5 rounds, and I already do like the magazine, which is not a very unique type of magazine for a 9mm. It's more of a type that you would see in a 22 LR. As you can see, it has the lever that pulls the spring down. How awesome is that? And it's all open, so you can tell exactly how many rounds you have in it. And it is numbered. Wow, pretty good. Let's put that stuff in, right? And do some shooting. Now, what is the difference between the regular M2.0 and this easy version? Now, the barrel is a little bit longer. As you can see, it does have the rails on the front, so you can mount yourself a laser or a flashlight if you are into that type of stuff. But overall, it is a bigger gun. They had to make it so because they made it easier to rack. So whenever you have a lighter spring in the gun, you want to make sure that you compensate with the overall length and the weight to absorb the energy from the recoil. And that's what they did here. Let's see if they succeeded in it. I do like the grip. It fits pretty good in my hands. Alrighty, I will try to get that orange little circle up there on the top. See if I can hit it. I mean, the slide is easy to rack in this. I like it. I like it a lot. Alright, so let's see if the trigger is good enough. Needed to get a feel for it. And let me tell you guys, it's not very hard to get a feel for this gun because I do already like it. Okay, first of all, the grip. Now, you probably already noticed this beaver tail safety that you would typically find on a 1911, except here it goes up the other way around. Now, in my personal opinion, being very picky on things, I think it might be a little bit of the design flaw to have the main point of pressure up top here. Now, ideally, whenever you have a good grip on the gun, you want your palm, right, to rest all the way up right here to have the best grip that you can get, right? So ideally, you would have your point of pressure here. However, a lot of people, a lot of novice people, right, to, firearms and handling firearms, they have the grip a little bit lower. Now, what that means is that you have the softer part of your palm resting in the place where you need the most of the pressure to be in there. All right, so you get the point. I think 1911s have their beaver tail safety with the main point of pressure being down on the grip for a reason, because it's easier to have enough pressure. Not a big deal. It is very light to engage, so not a big deal. Don't get it in your head too much. All right, let's talk about the grip. The grip, as you can see, it is fairly slim. So in my small hands, small palms, fits very, very good. Now, there isn't really no extension or much of the extension on the magazine itself, but it does have enough of area to have a really, really good grip on it. There isn't a lot of aggression going, but with a 3.6-inch barrel, I think it's definitely enough to handle that recoil from the 9mm. Let's put a few more rounds through it and see where we can get from there. Now, overall, I think right around 3.5 is where 3.5 inches for a barrel is where that sweet spot is for the 9mm specifically. Now, whenever it comes to 380 auto, we can go maybe down to about 3.2 inches, but for 9mm, 3.5 is pretty good. It's doing a pretty good job at handling the recoil. Right, let's do 5 more rounds. I'll try to get some more of that orange because it still looks too good. One thing that I wanted to mention here is that the slide release, whenever you put in your mag with your ammo, you can't, unfortunately, you have to pull the slide backwards in order to rack it. You know, I wish you could just release the magazine using just one thumb. Little complaint, right? All right, so let's try to hit that orange some more. All right, so let's talk about the trigger. Overall, I think it is pretty good. As you can see, you have about quite a lot, probably about 8mm of a very familiar safe travel, right? And then you have, actually no, you know what, never mind, because my palm was not resting on this beaver tail safety. That's why it is so light. But whenever you actually do have your palm on the beaver tail safety, it is only about 2.5mm of that safe familiar travel, right? And then after that, it's a crisp snap. So the trigger breaks very nice and very crispy. Pretty good overall. I do like it a lot, actually. I think it's a very, very good trigger. I am just not a big fan of the beaver tail safety. I think, to me personally, this is not a necessity in this gun. I think it's something extra that some people might like it. It's a personal preference at the end of the day. But to me personally, I wish it wasn't there. Let's do 5 more rounds and we will try to come up with some reasonable conclusion, more or less, right? The trigger is great. One thing that I wanted to point out here is the mag release is not ambidextrous, right? It's not. However, the safety, you engage the safety, it is ambidextrous. All right, and it engages up, clockwise. Pretty good, very easy to operate with one thumb, and there is sufficient amount of area on the safety, on the thumb safety, to have a good rest on it with your grip. I actually do like it a lot. Now, whenever it comes to different types of grips, there are no serrations on the trigger guard, so that might not work for you here. It's more of a standard grip here. But I do like the safety. I just don't really see the point of it being on both sides, being ambidextrous, because the mag release is not ambidextrous, and the slide release, which I think here, after the beaver tail safety, I think the slide release is my second least favorite thing about this gun so far. I do like the sights, however, they're very standard sights, your standard 3-dot sight. And speaking of some safety features, check it out. I'm gonna cock it, and as you can see, there is a loaded chamber indicator that comes up on top, indicating that the chamber is loaded. Ha, look at that. All right, let's try to get a bullseye on that orange. It bothers me. It bothers me. One more. was very close, but I don't think I earned being proud of myself for today because, yeah. Anyway, the serrations on the slide, you probably noticed, they're sort of unique in a way, not your usual typical stuff. And it's only on the back. Honestly, I don't know why it's only this much of an area, just an inch of an area that is utilized to give you the serrations. Honestly, I would prefer to see them go a little further and have them on the front as well because, well, why not? And for this, I mean, it works. The slide is very light. It's very easy to rack the slides. This is not a big deal that you have, honestly, even without the serrations, it would be easy to rack. So, overall, I think it is pretty good. I absolutely love the trigger. The trigger is excellent on this gun. The slide is excellent on this gun. A few things that I do not like is the beaver tail safety, especially the way it goes up and not down like in the standard 1911. I think it would have been better to stick with the classic, with the original. I'm not a big fan of the slide release. I think it could have been better just having the slide being released without pulling it backwards. I think it could have been more responsive, and as you can see right now, I wasn't able to break the trigger because my palm wasn't on the way up. So, the moral of the story, if you are getting this gun, which is a pretty good gun, it's a pretty good option for a concealed carry, especially with all of these crazy safeties, if you're all about the safety, which some people prefer to have a lot of safety, some people don't. But if you're all about safety, you will like this gun. Just make sure that you practice with it, that you master that grip that is all the way up, and you always keep in mind that you have to have a good pressure point on this beaver tail safety, because if you don't, this is what happens. This is it. See, I kind of have the grip on it, and it's kind of pressing, but it's not. Even like this, it's not. So keep that in mind. M&P 9 Shield EZ M2.0. I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope this was helpful. If it was, consider subscribing. Every subscriber makes a difference here on this channel. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. This was Firearms of America. I'll see you guys in the next video.